Well, it's another Monday night with bees all day. It's another cold one. It's 21 degrees here in the valley. It's been cold all day today. It's supposed to warm up tomorrow. Things are looking up for the next week a little bit. So it's supposed to get a little bit warmer. Hey, Tar Heel, DC. What sounds like a bunch of BS to you? Hey, Peabody, Mike, Jonathan. I saw Pennsylvania in here earlier. Keith, how are you tonight? Clay's in here. James Noel. So how's everybody doing tonight? It's a little chilly. So there's Eugene. Um, Dodd House, how are you tonight? Good to see you in here. There's Via Honeybees. Y'all are in here early tonight. There's the man, the myth, the legend, Sawmill Charlie.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
cold.
Yeah, it's a little chilly here tonight.
Yeah, we got snow Saturday night. I guess we got about 4 to 5 inches at least.
Yep.
But the roads were clear Sunday, but we had to push snow, all the hay clay, and get that all cleared out. Hey, Mike.
Yep.
And got that done. It did warm up a little bit today. And of course, we put some salt down. Sun did that. And
Yep.
it kind of helped melt around the house area here
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. So we kind of stayed in the house today. It was cold and icy, and we didn't have a tremendous amount of work that had to be done.
Hey, Gary.
So we just kind of played it safe so nobody slip and fall, break a leg, or anything like that.
Yep. It's probably the
And
smart thing to do.
yeah, I don't know. Just
I see somebody new in here tonight that
yeah,
I've never seen
feather
before.
flowers.
Feathers and Flowers. Where are you from, Feathers and Flowers?
Yeah, definitely new. And so anyway, just been checking out. Well, I went and got some things done today. On some errands and things like that, and that
That's
kind of
good.
stuff. My
Yeah.
son, he's been, being cold like that, you sell more hay. So he
Yeah.
was delivering or people coming and picking up hay and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
James is at 16 degrees Fahrenheit. It's 20 right now here.
Yeah. It's 21 here. So,
And
DC, did you get your package from me yet? Good evening, by the way.
who's, I don't know.
There's Pete Morris.
Hey, Dodd. Hey, Tom and Melissa. Hey, Keith. But anyway, it was kind of I don't really get a long weekend. I don't really get 2 days off in a row either. So it worked out well for me.
Well, that's
What
good.
I ain't complaining.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. There he is. I'll be back in a minute or two.
Okay. So, Tom, did Melissa cut your chain early today? There's Phil. How are you tonight, Phil? So, Gary, did I hear you ask somebody about a smoker box the other day? I was just wondering if you saw my response when you asked that question. So I had some good soup for dinner.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Hey, Grace.
Thank you for letting me know, DC. I appreciate it.
So anyway, that's what's been happening here.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's snow. I didn't even go out to look at the bees. There was not to look at after you get there, but
No,
other
yeah.
maybe some snow on the front entrances, but I don't care about that. That'll actually help them keep warm, keep the air out. Hey, Philip.
Yeah,
And
Phil's actually on here tonight. That's hard to believe.
so, and that kind of thing. And hey, Scott. And so, anyway, I did do a flare here a couple weeks ago. I think I showed that on here. And everybody's looking good as far as a heat signature goes. And I guess we're all kind of getting ready for Nobby.
Yeah, we are. We're all getting ready to go to Nobby. So,
and the Nobby dinner for us is sold out, or not really sold, but it's all taken out, or whatever you call it.
it's fully funded for meals is what I got out of it today from the post I saw.
Yeah, fully. All the
Yeah.
tickets are given out.
Yep.
So, other than that, that's about it. We
Well,
got the link up. Anybody wants to come in and chit chat,
yep. Come on in.
let us know what you're happening in your yard.
Yep.
Scott, I haven't seen you for quite a while. I know that you were in an accident and your lower back was giving you a fit here back right in about the middle of bee season.
Yep.
I was wondering how you were doing with that and all that. So, bring that last thing up to what Tom says.
Yeah. Hang on a second.
No, it's the next
No,
one.
wrong one. It moved on me just as I clicked on it. There it is. Fully funded. But if people would still like to donate for wiggle room, that would be great. We are now looking for door prize donations. So if you've got door prizes, then no need to apologize, DC. If you've got something that you want to donate for a door prize, feel free. Let Tom and Melissa know and bring it that night to the dinner so it can be given out.
Yeah, Dennis, I got my coat. I just got a hot chocolate over here and a piece of cheese. I've been on the hot chocolate being so darn cold.
Yeah.
Hey, Kentucky.
Hey, Dennis.
A new door. Door to what? The car or the house?
Yeah, but see, Phil, it gives you time to train yourself to be a public speaker. See, there's always a reason.
Oh, a door prize. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what I've been doing. Like I say, nothing really much in the bee world. I haven't really done any winter project yet.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I usually, paint boxes or something like that, but none of that for now.
Yeah, it's been kind of busy around the store here this past couple weeks. I was out last week, everybody. I had surgery. So that's why I haven't been answering the phone for the store if you've been trying to call or you've been talking to the wife. Um, Doing better, back on my feet again. So all's going to be good. You're not going to get rid of me that easy. So there's Chris. Yeah. How many grams did you use, Keith? 4 or more? 4 per brood box? Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Uh,
So I'm going to hit you early with a trivia question here.
hey, Ryan.
So let's get Tom's mind in gear early tonight.
Hey, Lynn.
Let's see. All right. Here's one. Everybody should know this without looking it up. What insect is the bee most closely related to?
I say yellow jacket myself.
Rob got it right. The ant. Why are they most closely related to an ant, Rob?
I have no
Let's
idea.
hear your Cornell answer. Phil got it right too. So did DC.
The only trivia questions we have at our bee club is what's on the EAS Master Beekeeper, but they're pretty basic a lot of times.
Yes, they live as a quote unquote superorganism or as a single unit. They work for the betterment of the colony. That's correct.
Hey, Gary.
That is correct. So I'll hit you with a hard one later. So,
Hey, Doug.
Hey, Doug.
90 click wins, huh?
Wow.
Yeah, let's see. Minus 32 for everyone here. And that's Celsius. I don't even have my chart doesn't even go that low. As low as it goes, minus 30 is minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit.
Minus 96 Celsius.
No, minus 32 Celsius. -30 is 22, minus 22 Fahrenheit. And tonight we're going to be a +4. A 4 is 39 degrees Fahrenheit. And 90 kilometers. I'm not sure just how. That's probably. I don't know what that would be. Probably 50-mile-an-hour winds.
Who wants to give me the formula?
Yeah, DC. That's a good analogy there.
Yeah, it's cold.
Yeah, I often wonder about where the human people races they live, and it's like, why would they live in a spot that is that extreme? But I guess you all get used to it. Here comes Scott.
Where'd Charlie go?
I'm right here. Where are you at? So how's things up in West York?
I mean, things at the bee yard are, like pretty much anybody else's bee yard. I've, put them to bed months ago. It seems a lot longer than that. It seems like maybe, seems like 6 months ago. This seems like forever. I was down the week before, the week of Thanksgiving. So like Tuesday, maybe that week. And gave everybody a blast of oxalic acid.
That's good.
And my hope is to do it again this week if it ever stops snowing and
it's supposed to be
being in the single digits.
50 degrees on Friday, I think.
Well, so like they keep saying that, and I would love to trust it, but for all of the precipitation we got Saturday night into Sunday morning, I didn't see anything on the forecast at all for this entire week. And then I needed to run an errand around 4:30 today this afternoon. And I went out and we got another inch to an inch and a half of snow tonight, and they weren't even calling for it. And it just kind of
you got snow. I didn't get it.
Yeah, we got a bunch. Like my car's covered, the street is covered, sidewalk, driveway, everything is covered in snow again. So they weren't calling for it. I'm not sure where it came from, but so anyway, so if it ever stops doing that and I can actually get down there, I'd like to give them another blast this month. And
the local forecast saying it's looking like I like doing OA at 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Looks like Wednesday. I know around here Friday's going to be close to 50 degrees. And from what the local Baltimore Weather Channel state. So that should be good for you this week.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it actually does get that, because that's what it's been. They call for it. Like, I think there was a day last week they were calling for it to be something around that, but then it was actually ended up being like about.
Well, the last OA treatment I did was on a Saturday afternoon. And of course it was a little bit under 45 degrees, let's say 43, 44, something like that. But it because of the barn and all, it blocked it. There wasn't really any wind. So it kind of made like a sort of a microclimate. And I did see a bee here and a bee that, I'm talking one bee. coming out, kind of more, or a bee coming back that was more of a scout and everything like that. And so, I mean, that tells me that inside the hive, they're loose. And I went ahead and vaporized them. I haven't done it since then because it's been in the 20s and stuff like that. So, how's your back and everything doing?
I'm under judicial. I'm under a judicial gag order to talk about.
All right. Well, I understand where you're going there. So we ain't worried about. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. So, I can say this though. I am still dealing with disc issues in my back. I'm not healed or cured or anything like that. I'm still dealing with,
Did you have to have an operation or anything?
I don't have to have an operation at this point. But at this point it's kind of like a wait and see what happens, but I'm still, for all intents and purposes, dealing with pain and discomfort and inability. And
I know what you mean there.
Yeah, when I'm trying to do certain things, like my brain is like, okay, let's try to do something, and then I can't. Like I'm reminded pretty quickly that my body doesn't want to do that. So, but at that point, I mean, there's nothing really I can do about it other than, just try to push on from it. So this is what my bee yard looked like when I put them to bed.
Quite a bit of hives there.
Yeah. So I'm going into winter with 14, 14 colonies, and I have, I've secured 2 additional yards. So, I've got this equipment out here in the garage. It all needs painted, and I built the frames. So they all got frames in them, but the foundations aren't waxed. So I need to pull them back out of there eventually at some point and wax them up. And I picked up a couple of nukes up there. You can see them up there. And then I've got 4 boxes up in the back that are already painted, but all those ones there in the foreground need painted. And then that thing there with the yellow hopper on the top, that is, that's a grain mill. I'm going to use that to turn granulated sugar into powdered sugar, and then I'm going to make my own fondant. So this is the first year my bees did not get mountain camp sugar. So I was always a big firm believer of mountain camp. Some colonies would eat a significant amount of it, and some would never even touch it. Right. And in fact, one of the neighbors, at the end of the winter last year, I took all the remaining mountain camp and just dumped it along the edge of the road, by the driveway over on the other side of the barn. And a neighbor came by in the summer and he said, "Can I ask you a question?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "What was all that white stuff sitting there along the fence line?" And I was like, "Just sugar." And he was like, "Okay." He was like, "We wanted to make sure that it wasn't something dangerous or anything like that." I was like, "No, it was just sugar." It was like, and once it rained a couple of times or whatever, it all got washed away, So, but anyway.
Well, you're gonna graduate from that mountain camp.
Yeah, I'm not using mountain camp this year. It's the first year I'm not using it. So, but I mean, I did the thing I do every year. I fed them until they stopped taking syrup. Which some colonies still wanted to go when the temperatures were no longer going to support, liquid feed. And some, had said, "All right, I had enough." And the feeder was still pretty much full of syrup. So I just dumped it and everything. So that was as much as I could do when temperatures, took a dive. So, but like I said, this year I'm going to make my own fondant. I bought a big 50-quart vertical dough mixer from China.
Well, you'll have to watch Matt from Sandy Valley.
But see, Matt's method, and there's nothing wrong with Matt's method. I don't have a problem with it at all. I mean, he does some level of cook to it, right? And I'm going to do something similar to Minnesota Mike, where it's basically just powdered sugar, some honey, and some Honeybee Healthy, and a little bit of water, just to, depending on how much.
You're going to make a sugar break.
It's not a sugar break. No, because this method, This method, if you use granulated sugar, it will come out like a sugar brick or kind of like a wet sand kind of consistency. But if you use powdered sugar, it actually comes out to the same consistency as Hive Alive fondant. So when I put this fondant into a gallon bag, Ziploc bag, and I look at it side by side with a Hive Alive fondant patty, they look identical. They're the same consistency. They're kind of like a Play-Doh kind of like consistency. And it's exactly the same. It's just not.
Yeah,
it's only
you're gonna have to make a video on that.
Yeah, it's only costing me about $1.60 to $2 for a 2.5 pound patty.
Yeah, but
whatever Hive Alive is charging.
I'm always looking at the process. You know, how difficult the process.
Super easy. So like I said, you saw in that mill I have there, right? I'm going to dump sugar in that, and it's going to mill it into, it's got a 1 millimeter screen in it. So it's going to mill it down to the same consistency as powdered sugar, but it's not, obviously, unlike powdered sugar, it's not going to have cornstarch in it or anything like that. So, or anti-caking, ingredient, anything like that. I'm going to put that in the mixer along with about basically 20% honey. So I'm going to use about 25 pounds of sugar. So it's going to be about 5 pounds of honey or so. And then I'm going to put in about 1% Honey Bee Healthy. I have a little bit of citric acid back here. I'm going to put that in just as a kind of a preservative, and then just adjust the water. If it needs water, I'll put a little bit in. Otherwise, I won't, and I'll just let it run in that mixer until it's that same Play-Doh-y kind of consistency that a Hive Alive patty is.
Yeah, Russell Koopman says he kind of made the same thing last year.
Yeah, and then I'll pull it out and I'll measure. Pull it out and weigh it into about a 2.5 pound ball. And I'll put it in that in a gallon Ziploc bag. Zip it. Roll it out so it's nice and flat, and then when I get it to the colonies, I'll do the same thing I would do with a Hive Alive package. I'll slice it open, cut a couple of slices in it or whatever, lay it on top of the cluster and close them back up. So this is the first year I'm going to do that and not do the mountain camp. And I'm hoping for a day in January or so, sometime in hopefully mid-January.
Right. You don't have to be. If you got a shim on there or you got a shim on there,
yeah,
everybody gets all hepped up about the weather. I mean, you got a choice. You put an emergency feed in,
right,
and keep them alive, or you don't and they die because of starvation. So if you open up what you want to do.
Right.
Open up the top, you put the shim on, you already have your bag sliced ready to go.
Right.
Put that bag on top of there, put the lid and everything back on top of the hive. You should be in and out within a minute.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't hurt your bees at all.
But obviously I don't want to do that on a day when it's like 20 degrees either.
Oh, no. I'm talking.
That's what I'm saying. So I really am hoping for a day. I'm hoping for a day in January that I'm able to do it. But you're right. I mean, I'll have everything there. I'll have the shim, I'll have the bag ready, and everything else. It'd be like up, in, done, close them back up, and
you should be let's say above freezing, and by that time it should be
right. Yeah. So that's my plan for this year. So but everybody went into winter with a good population, plenty of food. I did mite treatments, I put Apiguard on during it was cool. Some of the cooler days in like end of July, early August, we had a couple of days.
We had a really nice cool spell there. It was like 77 degrees.
Right. Yeah. So I did Apiguard then, and then in September I put Formic Pro on. And then in November I blasted everybody with OA. I want to do it again this month.
Well, you sound pretty much the same schedule that I did.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, I think everything is good. Like I'm going to make this fondant this year. So, and God willing, we'll, I only lost 2 colonies last year. So hopefully we won't have any major losses this year or whatever. And then I'll be splitting some of those colonies out. Now, one of the things that I thought was really fascinating with Randy Oliver on Bruce's Bruce and Brian, I think, were on there or whatever. But he basically, I heard some people talking about it or whatever. He basically just said this: instead of doing demerit, he was like, when your colonies are building up in the spring, you're going to split them out. He was like, but then as soon as the nectar flow starts, he said, don't worry about finding the queen or anything else. He said, literally just recombine those colonies right back together. He was like, let them duke it out as far as the queen stuff and go. He's like, but basically you're doing that to create a big field force. He was like, and then throw your supers on that or whatever. Now that's what he had said that night, right? Whether or not that worked.
There's been a lot of people that have been talking about that.
Yeah. So, and that's what he said, basically, whether it works, whether, I don't know, but he's, he seems to really know what he's talking about. Obviously it's Randy Oliver. So,
Well,
but in any event, that's what he said. He was like, because then all of a sudden he said, basically you've instantly transformed instantly doubled the field force back into that one colony. And then they're going to go out, he was like, but you're going to do that right at the beginning of the flow. He was like, and then, go from there. I might try that this year. I'm not sure. But because I want to grow into these other two yards that I have, I might just kind of forego the major honey production this year and just do the splits out so that I can have colonies to populate these other yards.
So what kind of numbers are you looking to get to?
Well, right now I have enough. So like, obviously I lost 5 colonies in my existing yard. So like I said, I had 20 colonies there. I went into the winter with 14 because I lost 5 of them because I couldn't get down there and manage them. And then, so I'm hoping, I have enough equipment for 10 colonies per yard. So another 20 colonies. So I want to do 10 colonies in each one of these 2 additional yards. And then we'll go from there. And then, and then however many colonies I end up with in my existing yard. So,
you can,
so
take what you have there and you're saying you're going to get, I'll say, well, you got 17 now. So let's say they all come through. You're going to take 7 out of there.
Yeah.
And then you could take those 7 to take half of them to each yard, you might say, or take them to 1 yard. And then, like you say, if you get a double deep, pull the double deep off, put it on a bottom board, and there's your next hive.
Right.
And if it's got, depending on the right time of year, the right kind of weather and all that stuff, then it either will requeen itself or you can provide queens if you can find some at that time.
Yeah.
And then you have your extra boxes. Then you give them, the new frames and all the other stuff, and they can draw wax out for you. And you won't have the swarming issues or anything like that.
Well, then on top of all that, I don't know if you can see back, I can never do this. Back here, there's like a little, like little picture frame kind of thing back there, just off the side of my head there. See that right there?
Kinda.
Yeah. So that's my Department of Ag limited food establishment license. So now I will be able to sell at markets. So I got that in the end of July last year, and the license actually didn't come through until towards the end of August. So it was kind of too late to do markets. Plus I don't think I had the inventory at this point of honey to do markets. I'm only sitting on maybe about 300 pounds of honey. So, so I don't really feel like I have the inventory to do markets and stuff.
Yeah, well, let's not try to get too much on our plate right now.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So like I have all this stuff, right? So I want to expand in these 2 yards, and then I want to do markets and stuff like that or whatever, just because I'm not able to sell. Like I hear you, Charlie, talk about you're selling, it sounds like sometimes hundreds of dollars of honey in a day, right? And I hear you talking about that because I don't always catch your lives just because of the stuff that I'm dealing with my body and stuff. But I always try to watch the replays, even if I have to watch them from bed. And I hear you talking about that. And I just think, if I could only do that, But for me, I mean, I'm advertising. I've got a sign out front. I've got a website with an online store, and I'm still lucky if I sell $50 of honey a month. So
you got to remember something. I've been at it for a long time, number one. And number two, I do sort of have a storefront.
yes, you do. Right.
And even though it's for lumber,
Right.
I don't know about the Honey King.
No, I think you are. I mean, like when you're talking about people and you're like, I sold this woman 4 quarts, and I'm like, I can't even sell a pound, right? You're selling multiple quarts. So
Yeah, well, now she's a regular too.
yeah, right.
And
So
I asked her, I said she bought 12 pounds of honey. I said, what are you doing? Cooking with it or something like that? No, we just don't want to run out.
yeah.
And so
Yeah.
and-
So anyway,
and
so
they're right.
It
They're
takes
right.
time to build that clientele.
oh, no doubt, no doubt. But that's why I want to do markets, because I want to start actually. I would like the honey sales to start funding some of these endeavors.
And now Ryan's got a question here, Peabody, and he wants to know why the certificate. Well, that's because he lives in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because I live in Pennsylvania,
And
and
they're
everything in Pennsylvania has to be regulated and everything else.
regulated at the yin yang.
I mean, listen, I mean, this guy, the inspector who came, the inspection was very cursory and swift. So I wouldn't say that he came in here with a white glove and did everything else. But at the same time, there was definitely certain things that had to be in a particular way. And at the end of the day, he told me that honey is a very low risk product. So they're not super, super, super worried about that. And that division of our Department of Agriculture focuses more on the cottage bread making and jams and jellies and sauces, right? Which seems to be a huge thing right now in Pennsylvania, at least.
Well, they just changed the law up there too, I hear.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I don't know the ins and outs of that, but
Right.
I know, I belong with Chester, PA up there. And if you, like you say, if you sell it in a store, you got to have a license.
Right.
Or whatever.
Well, so like here, let me grab a couple of things that are here. So, so I had to basically make labels, and I had to submit my labels to the Department of Ag, and they had to have certain things on them. So like, for instance, this is just my standard honey label. So, it just, it has my bee guy on there, and it has my address, and that's my LLC that I formed. It's called TUB Naturals, and TUB stands for the Unlikely Beekeeper. So I had to form an LLC. And then, so then I had to put this stuff on there. And then I have a QR code there on the top that takes you to our website. And then I did this creamed honey. So again, it had to have, certain things on it. These are just really basic generic labels. They're Avery labels. I printed them out on my printer back there, and, nothing special or anything like that.
You got to have your crystallization label along
right.
with
So then this was a jalapeno honey that I experimented with. I only sold 1 jar of it. And again, I had to submit all of that stuff to the Department of Ag, and they had to approve it in order for me to be able to put it on my jar.
Isn't
and
that
sell
kind
it.
of like yours, Bill?
Huh?
Isn't that kind of like down in Virginia you were talking about? I mean, I know you have a processor's license, but when you infuse honey, I guess is what you call it, like the jalapeno or whatever.
Oh, I have to have an ingredients label.
Yeah.
And on the ingredients label, in any infused honey or any creamed honey that's infused with a flavor can have no more than a 2-year shelf life. And it's very, very controlled.
But don't you have to, they have to actually make it or something like that in order to prove it? Or
You have to test the recipe.
Yeah, so I had to submit it all. I don't have to have it on the label, but I have to submit it to the Department of Ag so that they can make sure that there's nothing dangerous in it.
Yeah,
Like,
you have in Virginia, I have to have an ingredients label.
gotcha. Now, if I had a whole bunch of ingredients, I would have to have them on the label.
Doesn't
But
matter here how many ingredients you've got. If you've got 2 or more ingredients, you got to have an ingredients label.
gotcha. Yeah. So anyway, so I mean, but those are some of the kind of quick and dirty labels that I came up with.
Yeah.
But I had to submit them to the Department of Ag, and they had to approve them and stuff before I could, actually use them. So then I bought. I had to buy one of these. They're magnetic induction soil. So I can't show you. Well, maybe I can show you. No, I have tamper bands on these, so I can't show you. But basically, you put this label inside the lid, and then you put this kind of plunger down on it, and it's magnetic. It sends an electromagnetic field in it, and it seals a foil seal onto the rim of the jar. So all my jars had to be done that. So, and it's quick and easy. I mean, and they're pretty cheap, and I just put the thing down on it and I push the button and it does it for maybe 1.5 seconds and it'll seal it. So once they take the lid off, then they have to peel the,
Well, now see with mine, I get
foil off.
the caps for my plastic. It has that seal inside it. And
Yeah.
once I screw it down tight, and then you take the lid back off, it's there.
Right. So this jar is from Man Lake, and these lids from Man Lake do that as well. But on these types of jars, they don't have that kind of lid that has that self-sealing thing. So I had to buy
for you to do is you need to go 30 miles east to Gamber, where Man Lake buys their lids from.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You're going. You can cut the middleman out on that.
Right. Yeah. So, but like I said, for these, I have to buy the lid, and then I put it inside. I had to buy the seal, put it inside this lid, put it down. Then I have this machine back here, like I said, and I put the plunger down on top of it. I push the button. It sends an electromagnetic field, and it seals that foil onto the rim of the jar, and then you can take the lid off, and then it's kind of sealed. But then I have this tamper band on it as well. So I have to do all that and stuff too because of Pennsylvania. So if you're wondering why you never want to come to Pennsylvania and have to deal,
and they're kind of like that too, Bill. I mean, as far as like a backyard beekeeper about sales.
No, the only time you get into anything like that is with the FDA. And Scott, you got a long ways to go before you have to worry about FDA.
Oh yeah, right. Well, that's the other thing too. When I got my license, they told me, they were like, now remember, you can't sell anywhere outside of the state of Pennsylvania. This license is only good for Pennsylvania sales. And if you want to sell outside of Pennsylvania, or if you want to ship to anybody that's outside of Pennsylvania, you need an FDA license. And the inspector said, that is a nightmare, and only 1% of small guys that apply for an FDA license actually end up getting it.
That's not true.
Okay. Is it less or more?
I applied for mine and got it in 3 days.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's what the inspector had said to me. He said FDA license is very, very difficult.
He's trying to scare you into not doing it, is what he's trying to do. So FDA has more stringent requirements in PA, but their inspection's a whole hell of a lot simpler.
Gotcha.
Because the state does their inspection.
And so they do come to your facility and inspect it,
Oh yeah.
Does? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
now,
then
like
if something happens, say you have a recall,
yeah,
you're going to get re-inspected within 30 days.
Oh, gotcha.
By the FDA, if you're FDA licensed. But the reason I say you've got a long time to wait, because if more than 50% of your sales are out of state or to a grocery store chain that could go out of state,
okay,
then you have to be FDA licensed.
Gotcha. Yeah,
But
I knew that.
you
I knew
really
that.
don't need to be FDA licensed until your sales hit $1 million. And 50%
Gotcha.
of that $1 million has to be to an FDA distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Well,
here in Maryland, like if I want to do creamed honey, I can do straight creamed honey. But as soon as I put a flavor in that creamed honey, then I have to have a commercial kitchen or inspection and all that other stuff.
Well, that's what that license back there covers me for. So I had made a small batch of pumpkin spice creamed honey. You know, I mean, again, that only had, other than the honey, that only had a single ingredient in it. But I was only able to do that because of that license.
I hate to tell you this, but pumpkin spice has more than a single ingredient in it.
Yes, the pumpkin spice does have more than one ingredient in it, but the ingredient that I used is considered a single item, according to the inspector. So two more things I just want to touch on, just to kind of round out the kind of draconian rule we're under here. So if I want to sell those baskets, like those gift things that Philip has been doing and has been getting everybody into doing. I saw Brad was doing it now and stuff too up in Canada. So anyway, if I want to sell a basket, so obviously honey is not a taxable item in Pennsylvania because it's a food item and we don't pay taxes on food or clothing in Pennsylvania. Well, we pay taxes on prepared food, but we don't pay taxes on like regular food or whatever. So if I want to sell those baskets or any kind of gift or whatever that contains what is already a non-taxable item, I have to charge tax on that, because as soon as I put those non-taxable items into a gift, into the form of a gift medium or mechanism, it's now a taxable item, even though the contents are actually non-taxable by themselves. And so then I need a sales tax license, which is completely separate, that I have to get from our Department of Revenue. So then I need a sales tax license, and then I have to display that sales tax license and everything else when to sell those baskets. Even if I don't sell any, just if I'm going to have them for sale, I need that. And then the last thing is, if I want to sell lip balms, I need a separate license from the Pennsylvania Department of Health. It is a $100 a year license. And it, of course, has to list all the ingredients and stuff like that. I have to submit all that to them. I have to let them come out and inspect my method in making the lip balm and packaging it and everything else. And I have to have my license number on the label and so on. So that is a separate license that I need from the Pennsylvania Department of Health, or I can't sell lip balm.
Yeah. What regulations?
Hey, so Philip. Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell in here in Pennsylvania. So, but I'm taking it in stride. I'm working through it. So we'll see. What happens.
Like I say, it's a process of taking years to, like I say, develop a customer base, develop a market. If you want to get into the shows and stuff, then you can. You have to kind of get into that and understand how to do all those different things.
Right. So I did experiment a little bit with baskets. Since Philip's in here, I'll go ahead and grab one over here. I did experiment with them a little bit, just playing around with it. So this is the basket that I made. So I'll take these jars out of it. Of course, I put the coroplast on it. Now I'm using an actual pin nailer now and not these these staples, because the staples are tearing it all up, and you can see they're kind of indented there a little bit. I think there's just, even at 60 PSI on my gun, there's just too much power behind it. But this is just, like an 1.5 inch piece of wood. And this, believe it or not, these are paint stirrers 14-inch paint stirrers and I cut them down to 6 inches. Well, I took the paint stirrer and I ripped it down through the middle and turned it into 2 halves and then snipped it at 6 inches, and it fits these 3-ounce jars. 2 of those and the the thing. So I did experiment with these, but I haven't actually packaged any up for sale or anything like that yet. So
It's a good idea. Yeah, mine sometimes dents the bottom of that end too, but that doesn't bother me too much. Let me see.
well, like I said, I picked up a pin nailer at Harbor Freight. It was like $30 or something like that or whatever. And I made the last couple of them with that pin nailer, and that actually does a great job with it. And
I would think that would do good on the wood part, but as far as holding it,
Yeah, I think that would.
Well, so obviously, so these here against the wood have some Gorilla Glue for the Coroplast, because obviously wood glue wouldn't stick to the Coroplast.
That would take
And
too
then
long.
and then these are Type Bond 3 and the staple.
gosh.
So
Phil, I haven't had any problems with your stuff.
Yeah,
None.
I make these in like less than 2 minutes each. So.
yeah, I know you do, and maybe someday I'll get there. But at this point, I'm just kind of experimenting with it at this point. But I'm not going to be selling any at this point. So I'm just playing around with it.
I think from just taking the raw wood and the Coroplast, which it takes longer for me to cut the Coroplast out because I use a knife. I use a knife rather than a saw.
Right.
I timed it because Bill ordered some from me, or he wanted some. So I said, here, let me do a little test. So I did a test of some, and it took me about right around an hour to do 10 complete boxes. And that's from raw material. And the fastest part is the assembling part.
Yeah.
Making the pieces is the thing that takes the longest.
I mean, I'd say that, it's not terribly, it's not terribly slow. It's not like I'm cranking out like 2 an hour or anything.
I like the paint stick idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's what it just kind of came to me. I thought, you know what, let me just get the paint stirrers and I'll rip them down through the middle. That'll make my 2, strips. And then I'm just using, like regular tin snips to just, cause it's so soft. Right. So these are 6 inches long. So I was literally just measuring out 6 inches and just snipping it.
It's fun. It's fun now when I see people's Facebook posts and I see almost this identical box on their website and their tables. I think that's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, right. But the only problem, like I said, with these paint sticks
like 3
is
different
that
people.
the wood is so thin and soft that on this particular one, it did not split when I hit it with the staple, but some of them were. So when I switched to the pin nailer, they didn't split anymore. So so that's what I'm going to stick with. So
I saw somebody's, I can't remember who it was, but their box looked like a piece of furniture. They spent a lot of time on it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care if it's, as long as it holds and it doesn't, there's jagged edges, that'll put
There you go.
that'll put a splinter in your finger or whatever. It's a crate. It's supposed to be.
yeah, it's going to wind up in the fireplace for
right.
It's supposed to be very rustic. That's the whole point of it.
But I mean, I have, I followed Philip. I followed everything that you talked about. So I got the plastic. I got the I think it's a
Shrink
16. I got the 16-inch impulse sealer. I have a heat gun, obviously, because I put these tamper bands on there with heat gun. So I have all that. I have everything I need to actually make them and sell them. I'm just not doing any markets, so I can't. I don't have any.
I would like to update everybody because I've been telling everybody that I use just the Knox shrink wrap, which is a very high quality shrink wrap, and it's kind of a soft plastic. But just as a test, I ordered a 10-inch roll of shrink wrap because on the smaller baskets there was quite a bit of waste on the 16, and I ordered it from it's probably a Chinese company. The plastic itself is more, it's what you think of when you buy like a something that's shrink wrapped. It's got a real crinkly plastic, real loud and crinkly plastic. But I'm starting to like it better because it seems to accept more heat. And it also, when it shrinks, it's clear. The other one, the one that was soft from Knox, is a little bit cloudy.
Yeah.
I think that one, the main use for that one is if you're doing things like tomatoes and vegetables that are on like a styrofoam bottom or whatever. That's a better one for that because that plastic is a softer plastic. Let me see. No, this is actually the softer one. You can't even hear that. Let me see if I can find one that's here. I bet this one is. Yeah. See if does it pick up the sound? This is the.
I don't hear it.
You can't hear that.
No.
No, I can't hear it.
You can't hear it. Okay, it's just not picking it up. But
I
this
use that shrink wrap that you told me about.
Yeah, that's what I bought too.
you
I was like, whatever Philip says, that's what I'm doing.
You got the knot. I don't think I've recommended this one to anybody because I wasn't going to recommend it without really giving it a good, but I like it.
It looks clear to me. I mean, that's all you're looking for, right?
It is more clear. Yes.
Yeah.
And it tends to, like this soft plastic, if you accidentally stay on it too long, you'll burn a little hole, which I don't worry about that either. It's not that big of a deal if it has a little small hole in it. It's just to hold everything together. And this one tends to take more heat.
Yeah, so, the only thing I found out about the one you told me about, Phil, is my heat gun has 2 levels.
Yeah.
If I use the second level, it will disintegrate that plastic.
Yeah, I never use the hot. I never use the hot on the heat gun. I always use that's mine too. It has 2 levels. I use the lower level.
Yeah.
But that
so
works.
Melissa wants to talk about Hives for Heroes and
and I want Melissa to talk about
dinner.
it too.
And so you want to talk about
Melissa.
Hives for Heroes. So
you did a good job last night, Philip.
I don't know about that, but well, I guess I'm what you call what do they call it when you got an actor that's playing second, an understudy? Yeah, I'm an understudy.
You're a stunt double.
Yeah.
You even figured out how to share your screen and zoom in and everything. You did good.
Yeah, I guess it was nerve-wracking.
Okay, so let's see here. Bill, I put the link for the donation link in the private chat if you want to share that.
Okay. Thank you.
So this is our 3rd annual Hives for Heroes raffle that Philip started 3 years ago with his own basket, and people just gradually started donating things and making it bigger and bigger. And last year, as a group collectively, we were able to donate just over $2,200 to Hives for Heroes with the raffle. So this year we want to go a little bit bigger, and our goal is $2,500. So if that's that one's my Venmo. The other one is the Hives for Heroes one. The other link. Don't send money to my Venmo for the Hives for Heroes raffle. It's a whole other thing. Anyway, so we have several people in our chat community donated some really amazing gifts. Quite a few of them are Nobby pickup only, but if you win one of those gifts and you want to arrange shipping with who you win it from, you can totally do that. So don't think if you win one of these Nobby pickup only gifts that you can't have that. If you want to pay for shipping, you can totally arrange that, and that gift can be yours. Otherwise, what we're going to do is if you win, say, one of these first gifts that are Nobby only, you can choose to pick one of the later gifts that are shipping gifts in exchange for the one that you won that is pickup only. So you have a couple of options there. So if you're not coming to Nobby, don't feel like you can't participate in this raffle. You totally can, and we want everybody to because there are some really great items on here. So we're going to start it off with number 1 is a dog bed donated by Mr. Michael Maher. Apparently, we've all been saying his name
Man,
wrong.
I've been doing that wrong. Shoot.
Maher. I think I said it right that time. Michael can correct me if not. But anyway, it's a dog bed. It's a bee print on the I don't know, plastic, whatever you want to call it on there. But it is a $97 value right there. And he has 3 different sizes that you can choose from. So you can check out his website and see what the different sizes are on that. The next item is a Defender hive donated by Brian and Jen Zavada with Flower Street Farms. And that also comes with inside, I don't know how many frames it holds, but it comes with 16. Michael's Infinity, the mating nuke frames, 16 of those inside that Defender hive. And that is a $350 value. You can use that as a mating nuke, or you can use it as a regular hive. So if you win that and you don't do queen rearing, you can still use it as a regular Apame hive. Next item is number 3, an Enel hive. And I'm going to let Tom tell you about that because I don't really know all the details. So I'm going to spin it. Oh, yeah.
Well, it's actually coming from Bill at Shenandoah. So Bill basically told me that those would be solid bottom boards and that the configuration you see there comes with 2 boxes, the insulated lid and the bottom board basically. But we have the option to utilize that in different forms and fashions. So if you are a person that uses a double box, deep box, you can do 2 deep boxes, or you can do 1 deep, 1 medium, or you can do 2 mediums, whichever configuration he tells me that that's acceptable. But it's just that smaller kit that you see there. And I'm certain that Bill would allow you to add to it. He will have that stuff at his booth at Nobby. He'll have all the particulars on that. I think he's got 3 different colors too. Bill, you can correct me if I'm wrong there.
We're out of pink.
Okay, no pink.
So yellow and green. And that also
Yellow and white.
Yellow and white, sorry. And that also comes with Michael Maher with 21st V's Infinity frames. I think 20 of them. And you can pick which size, cell size, what frames you want out of those. And that's donated by Tom and myself and has like a $281 value, including the frames. Next, we have a 404 Bee House stackable swarm trap donated by Mr. Philip Morris himself with RTX honeybees. He values that at $150. And Philip, you can talk about your swarm trap there.
Yes, that's the latest version of my swarm trap. I make a few of these every year. This one, I just decided to do one that I called a deluxe model. And instead of just stapling the thing together and gluing it, I glued and used screws for all the joints. They stack. You could stack 3 or 4 high if you wanted, but this particular one has stainless steel entrance disc instead of plastic. Also, it has a sloped top with the insulation. I think 3/4 insulation and a coroplast soffit underneath that, so the bees can't get to the insulation. And it's got wax coating on the inside. It's rough sawn cedar and a little bit of propolis melted into the bottom to give it some bee smell. That's pretty much it.
Next, I guess it would help if I was on the right screen. Next item we have is a gallon jug of Type Bond 3 donated by Mark Zenner. And that is a $38 value. We all need Type Bond 3 in our operation because we're always either putting something back together or assembling something that Tom breaks and we have to fix it. Then number 6 and 7, we have donated by JW of Soapstone Farms, some frame crackers. So when you go to extract honey, you bring your box in, you can just slam it down on this frame cracker and it pushes all of your super frames up. So you don't have to pry them up with your hive tool. And there is an 8 frame and a 10 frame version. And he valued those at $30 or $35 a piece. I can't remember. Let's go look. $35 a piece. Next, we have some of Matt Ramsbottom with Sandy Valley Honey Company. his fondant that we've all heard about. He's doing 3 separate lots of it. Each lot is 25 pounds. He values each at $50. And a lot of us have used that and had great success with it. So that's a great prize there too. Next, 21st Bee and Michael have donated 2 separate sets of his infinity frames, deep infinity frames. You can pick which cell size that you want to use. And those are each valued at $58 each. Then we have Grammy's gift basket here, number 13. And she has a whole slew of products in that. We have her cherry amaretto jam, honey barbecue sauce, 2 1-pound bottles of raw honey, an 8-ounce bottle each of her mango jalapeno, blueberry cayenne, peach habanero, pineapple ghost pepper, mixed berry reaper, and then 2 jars of her oatmeal honey body butter, 4 soaps, 2 loofah sponges, and 6 lip balms. And she values that at $150. So all of these items that I've mentioned so far are Nabi pickup. Again, if you win one of those and would like to pay for shipping, then those can be shipped to you. Or if you win one of those and would like to swap that out for one of the other gifts below, you can do that also. So number 14 is donated by James Noel, and it is his gift basket that includes number 14, 2 10-ounce amber honeys, a 4-ounce light honey, 3-ounce cinnamon creamed honey, 5-ounce plain creamed honey, 6-ounce light honey, 2 dippers, and 12 straws, and he values that at $60. Our next item is a $100 Hilco gift card donated by Phil Kent with 33 Mile Bees. Then we come down here and we have, these are not the coasters. I'll have Philip show you the coasters here in a second if he has them available to him. But 2 separate coaster sets donated by Gunline Bees, Tim and Hannah. They value each set at $30 a piece. And the ones that are up for raffle are actually Hives for Heroes colors, so red, white, and blue. And again, I'll have, we just didn't have that picture when I was making this poster. So Philip can show those to you here in just a second. Number 18 is a grafting station donated by Hope Sadler, and they value that at $50. Then number 19 and 20 are 2 separate bucket alarms by J.L. Apiaries, and those are valued each at $60 a piece. Those are amazing. We've used them this year in our operation, and just if one bucket flows over, you've saved your money there. These 2 are set at different depths that you can change. One is between 3 1/4 to 6 1/4. The other one is 2 3/4 to 4 1/4. And each of those is valued at $60. Then we have our last basket here, number 21, donated by Clay Bunner. And it is his Christmas tree candles and honey. And he also texted me that he's going to add in more candles to that. So there'll also be a few additional candles in with this. But right now, as that sits, he valued that at $49. So we would love to have everybody get your tickets so we can meet that goal. Surpass that goal would be amazing. The raffle will be on Joey's Live this Saturday at 7 p.m. And I think that's all the information I have. But, Bill, in the private chat, it's the first link that I put in there, the Hives for Heroes one, to get the tickets for this. And the website is going to be called Give Butter. That's the ticketing site that fundraising site, I guess, that Hives for Heroes uses.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, and I think we're up to 1760 right now.
Is that what it is? I was just going to check.
Link is posted.
All right, here's the
Yes, Roy, fat fingers.
Here's the coaster set. This is the coasters. There's 4 of these in here. That's one of them. red, white, and blue. And this one has gold on the base of the coasters. That other one had black.
Is that real gold? Or is it
Looks a little more like copper, I guess. But it is a metallic. The camera doesn't pick that up, but these have a lot of, I don't know. Well, you can kind of see it there. See how much texture and stuff is in that? It's really nice. This one here, I don't know if I can get it to close enough to pick it up, but it's got little, real shiny little flecks in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really nice. They're really nice.
They are really nice.
Yeah. And if I can make Noah part with these, you might have the option of getting 2 of these instead, which are the thick, real thick ones with the honey dipper in the middle. These are cool. There's 2 of these.
I want whatever one Philip wants.
Yeah.
Bill, I don't think that link is showing up for whatever reason.
Let's try it again. Paste.
Melissa, I was surprised when
There
you
it
were
is.
when you were going through all of the different prizes.
Mm-hmm.
When you were advancing past the tight bond, I'm surprised the tone in your voice didn't change to say 6, 7.
6, 7.
Yes.
Oh man, I'm hoping we're past that 6, 7 nonsense.
Yeah, really. Thanks, Scott.
But yeah, the it's on there now, Bill. Thanks. Yeah, we'd really like to surpass what we donated last year, and there's some amazing prizes on there. So, don't miss out. Yeah,
Yep.
Clay noted on there the ticket prices they're $5 a piece or five tickets for $20. Yes.
Yep.
And I think about right now where the value of the prizes and the value of the raffle are almost identical right now.
Yeah, we added it up the other night. Yeah.
We'd like to do a little better than what the value of the prizes is.
Well, that would be good. It's always good to come out a little ahead.
Yeah.
And that way you can make more of a donation.
Well, I'm just impressed with just the items that have been donated, just people stepping up and donating some pretty amazing items. So, so the other link that Bill posted up above was my Venmo account.
I'm sorry.
No, which is like, I was going to talk about that separately. Not that I'm like begging people for money or but if you're coming to
She needs money for a divorce, everybody. She's
I'm studying.
She needs money to get her attitude right.
I need money to get my attitude adjustment money. No, that is actually for if you want to donate or you're coming to the No Life dinner. We've met our goal. We're doing the pizza party officially. But like we basically just met our goal. So if you want to donate and give us a little bit of wiggle room, that would be amazing. And then also if you are interested in donating a door prize, that would be fabulous. Also, just contact me, let me know. If you are going to donate money to Venmo, make sure in the notes you put it's for the Nabi dinner, the No Life, just mention the dinner somehow. That way I know to keep that separate. But again, thanks everybody who's donated already, because that's amazing also how much we've been able to raise for that dinner and get it to where people don't have to buy tickets. Because that was really the main goal, is that we can all just get together and nobody be obligated to purchase a ticket. So again, I really appreciate everybody who's donated to the raffle that Philip started 3 years ago. And then also to the dinner. So again, everybody can be included, up to 175 people, that is. But yeah, anyway, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on and telling us all about it.
That's my nightly spiel.
I just say that between the community, every night seems like you get an opportunity to go through it. So
we only have 3 more opportunities.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, Philip. Is that's just it? Like tickets, you've only got until Saturday evening, and then it's raffle time. So don't delay getting your tickets.
Yeah.
Like Philip said, he doesn't want to be Saturday night having to fill out.
Yeah, I'm not filling out any. I'll probably look at it at noon on Saturday, and that'll be the last time I look at it. I'll take your money after that, but yeah, about noon Saturday. That's it.
Well, and Philip has also offered, if you don't like to do electronic payment things, because we've had a few people not like to do that if you call him and arrange to send him a check, he will take checks. Just make the check out to Hives for Heroes, and then he'll bring that with him to Nobby to, turn that over to Hives for Heroes. And you can just contact myself or Philip about that.
The check's made for Hives for Heroes, but I need untraceable cash if you're trying to bribe me to get you to pull your bill.
I don't think there is anything as untraceable anymore, Phil.
So you're right about that.
Okay. Who's ready for the last trivia question tonight? Tom, are you ready?
Wait a minute. Before you do, I got to repost my trivia question.
Yeah, you need to give us the answer.
I never gave the answer, so okay, I'm gonna state it one more time in case anybody wants to guess. It's what's red and white, red and white, red and white, over and over again. Anybody want to guess? It's Santa rolling down a hill. Little Christmas humor.
Poor Santa.
Yeah.
Poor Santa.
Oh, I heard another one today. I watched I'm gonna make sure I don't get Bill banned. The Chit Show, and one of the lines in it was, "I really feel sorry for Jesus. I mean, having your birthday on Christmas is the worst."
December birthdays do stink sometimes, especially when you're a kid. They stink.
Yep.
Luckily, in my family, we get to everybody was born in October, with the exception of my son. He was born in November 5th, so we get to bang out the birthdays all in 1 month, and then a week later him, and we're done for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a beginner may get this before any of the advanced beekeepers will get it. Okay? So give 3 specific tasks of a worker bee. And I'll tell you right now, there's 8 total.
But you only have to name 3?
You only have to name 3.
All right. Let's see what they say.
Well, everybody's thinking, I'm going to answer Be Amazing Hive Dave's question. So if you enter the raffle and you win to pick up at Nobby, what we will do is all the winners, we will put them in contact with the person donating the item. So you will coordinate with that person when and where to pick up.
Yeah.
It's worked out really well the last 2 years.
Yeah, we literally trade emails, and then I'm involved in the email until I see that you guys have communicated with each other, and then I'll back out of it. That's how we do it. It worked really good last year.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom, you got 2 of them.
Is Tom playing?
Yep, I'm sitting.
Let's
Tom's
see.
playing. I've got my coffee cup in my hands. I'm not typing.
And it was the wording of the one that you got wrong that got it wrong.
Ah.
So you're not saying transfer. It's probably what you're hung up on is the word transfer, right?
I'm not telling you which one you got wrong.
I think that's what it is.
Come on, that's
The first two are actually in order.
Tom, he's gonna argue with you, Bill.
Yeah, he'll argue with a rock. You got about 30 seconds.
Oh, man. Let's see, Dodd House is on here. Dodd, have you started putting together your honey show
the
entries
amazing.
yet?
Looks like they've got a good answer.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with Tom.
Uh-oh.
They don't clean out cells, Tom. They clean the hive. They feed the brood and they transfer honey and pollen to cells.
All right, hold on. I'm going to
Wait.
disagree for 1 minute.
Oh no!
I
Oh,
gotta
no.
disagree. I have always been taught that when a bee emerges, the first thing she does is clean out her cell.
That I was just thinking that myself. That's exactly what I was always taught. That was the very first thing she does is cleans her cell out.
That's
and
that's the first. You know, I've heard that too, but I've watched bees emerge, and it seems like they just kind
They
of
just walk
they
away.
just walk
away.
off. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't see
But-
them clean their cell unless they clean it before they
What,
leave.
what
I
does
don't
the
see
book?
them clean.
What does the book say?
Yeah, that's the book.
Hive
Yeah,
cleaning.
I-
Hive cleaning, feeding the brood, caring for the queen, feeding the drones, guarding the hive, fanning the nectar, building cells, and collecting pollen and nectar.
Well,
All right. So Dinah and Rob came the closest.
Did you have on your list? Did you have transfer queen pheromones because they do that?
Nope.
Yeah.
If that, yeah, that is. You better add one to your
But
list.
if you think
It's
about
not a
the
job.
jobs that the honeybee, that the worker bee does from the time it emerges until the time it becomes a worker, think about the jobs it has. That's why I said a beginner will get this before an advanced beekeeper will, because an advanced beekeeper is going to read into so much stuff, but the beginner is going to say, oh, well, these are the jobs they have as soon as they emerge. Cleaning the hive, on down the line, because that's what they're taught in that beginner's class. I did this to trip you up, Tom.
Well, and I would say that transferring the pheromones is not necessarily a job; it's just something they naturally do. You know,
Exactly.
that's
And
the thing.
that'll come with grooming and feeding the queen. They will naturally move the queen mandibular pheromone when they feed her.
Yes. But if you think about the question, you gotta understand
It's all the wording.
follow the wording of the question.
Good question.
So I want to know. I want to know what.
Now this question comes from the Texas Master Beekeepers Test.
I like the trivia questions, Bill.
Yeah.
I want to know what Dodd's preparing for the honey show, so I know what I have to. compete
So I know
with.
what to fix. So I know what to do.
I know. Oh, my son's calling. Oh, my other son hung up on him.
Highland Honey has a good question.
Oh, he's entering pollen this year. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, just an FYI, when Melissa made those cookies of the recipe that you had shared with her, she did a really good job on them, honestly, and I did eat every single one of them. Interestingly enough, too, we had them sitting in a Tupperware container, and I think she just made one batch. It took me probably, I don't know, I'd say 2.5 weeks to eat them, and they were still as soft on the last day that I ate them as the first day. And I think it's because she drizzled a little bit of honey over the top of them, too. And we used our bourbon barrel-aged honey for that. So it was actually pretty good. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate the recipe. He actually started by making those cookies, and they're pretty amazing. He actually let me take the rest of them home, so I ate them all.
So Dodd, are you making straight creamed honey or flavored creamed honey?
there was a couple of questions, Bill, I wanted to ask you. Did you ever figure out why your one honey came out like butterscotch?
Yeah, it was the flavoring that was in it.
And obviously you didn't use butterscotch flavoring, right?
No, I didn't. It was the flavoring that made it taste like butterscotch.
Gotcha.
I haven't decided what I'm entering yet, Dad. I was thinking about it today. Going to start prepping this week.
And let's see, you've got what, 3 weeks left? Three and a half weeks left.
That's just enough time for my creamed honey to set. So I'm doing light amber, candles, creamed honey, mead, and flavored honeys.
There's a naturally granulated category.
Yeah, but you got to plan it. You really got to plan that ahead of time because it's got to be in a specific jar. So you need to fill your jar.
I was just saying because Phil, he's been talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Good jar here, man. This is perfect.
And I can't remember. You might need like 3. You usually have to enter 3 jars. So I'm not sure what
3
goes on
similar jars.
Yeah.
How
So
big
I'm
a
not
jar
sure
is
about the
it?
naturally granulated, but yeah, you've got that naturally granulated one. You've got to plan that one pretty far ahead if you're going to enter that.
So I've got all my jars scoped out. I've got all my jars set aside that I'm going to use. I've got all my lids, my good lids sitting aside, wrapped in tissue paper, setting aside. And so I took my light and picked my jars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely make sure they're clean on the inside, because once you put the stuff in them, you can't clean the inside. So, and those judges,
a little Windex helps.
yeah. Hey, then it smells like ammonia, and as soon as they pop the lid off, they wince back like this and cast out your.
Also, so when you're cleaning your jars, don't use scented soaps either.
Yeah,
because sometimes that scent lingers on the glass, and I'm telling you, when they open those jars, they don't just open them and then test it. They like have their nose in your jar.
It's right here
as they open it, so they can smell absolutely anything. And then that also helps them to make sure that all 3 jars are the same honey, so that they know all 3 jars smell exactly the same. So you're not like getting 1 jar from 1 bucket of honey and 1 jar from, you really want to pour those all from the same bucket.
Here's a pro tip too. We spit shine the inside of ours.
Yeah, right.
So do you get
your Clay said the exact same thing you said at the same time.
Oh, hey, good one, Clay.
Hey, do you get your honey back after you enter it or not?
The only thing you do not get back is your black jar.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Everything else you get back.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you can actually donate it if you want to, but yeah, you get it back.
Yep. So at the Virginia show, we had an issue with creamed honey. There was windows on one side of the room where the honey was at.
I melted.
Guess what was coming in those windows?
Yeah.
The sun. They set the creamed honey in the sun.
Well,
and it built up pressure inside the jar. And when they cracked the lid on that jar, it went poof.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Serves them right.
Oh,
so Tom and Melissa, do you keep, when you're at markets, do you keep your creamed honey like in a cooler?
Mm-hmm.
We do. Okay, what we do is if it's really hot outside, I set 1 jar out and just kind of rotate it every half hour or something.
Keep it out of the sun and stuff.
If it's really insanely hot, I don't put any out. I just put a sign up there that says creamed honey. But we keep it all in a cooler in the shade. The same with our chunk honey and our comb honey, because that will melt also.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it will.
So are you giving like samples of the creamed honey out?
Okay,
so basically somebody asks for it, you get it out, give it to them, put it back.
So
most of the time we mention it.
We have a specific jar that's our creamed honey sample, and we'll keep that either in a shaded spot under the tent or in the cooler also.
Gotcha.
And like I said, the same way with the comb honey and the chunk honey, when it's hot outside, we don't leave that on the table because that comb will melt because that sun coming through that glass or that plastic case will just melt that
like a magnifying
comb.
glass.
And So we'll just have a sign that says comb honey or chunk honey or, whatever. And we keep that in the cooler also. And like our comb honey and our chunk honey, we store that in the deep freeze and we'll take that out like the night before market. So it's, it's not frozen, but that way it comes up to temperature and it's not sweating.
It won't crystallize either.
It's not sweating on our market table or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we had a Christmas show here locally, and the first weekend wasn't bad. It was 7 nights total. It wasn't bad. We sold a little bit of honey. Didn't sell any creamed honey.
Mm.
The second weekend, we sold some creamed honey, right?
Oh,
So I had 2 flavors there. I had bourbon and I had cinnamon roll there. So we sold a little bit of it. The last weekend, we sold all but 1 jar of the bourbon. We sold all of the cinnamon roll. We sold all but 1 jar of hot honey, and we sold all the peach, and we didn't sell any of the bourbon runny honey.
Mm.
And we sold out of regular honey as well. But
So Bill,
we had a good 7 nights.
Bill, your flavored honeys, like, is that more of like somebody comes up, they see it, they're like, oh, that sounds interesting, like cinnamon roll honey, right? Like, obviously that's something that not everybody has heard of before, or that, you're going to see everywhere. So then, like, do you give them a sample of it and then they're like, oh, wow, I got to buy a jar of that? Or do
Yes,
they walk up?
We have a small jar for samples for
Right.
people to sample out of.
Yeah.
And we take it out with a spoon, put it on a paper plate, and
Right.
hand them a wooden stick.
Gotcha.
And then they sample it.
Yeah. And then as soon as they sample it, they're like, yeah, I got to have that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the way we do it is get their attention at your table. Would you like a sample of honey? Da da da. And tell them what we have. What I usually do is like, hey, if you'd like to sample honey, we have samples of our light honey, our dark honey, our creamed honey, and our bourbon barrel aged honey. Like, oh, that sounds interesting. So I go, what would you like to sample, or would you like to sample everything? And we use our squeeze bottles, so I get a wooden spoon, I put a sample on, and if they want to taste everything, I start with the creamed honey because I actually have to scoop that one in a jar.
Yeah.
So I'll start with that one, and then the other ones are all in squeeze bottles, so they can keep using the same spoon. I just squeeze it on their spoon and they sample it, and usually they'll usually buy at least one item. If they sample, they're 95% of the time they're buying at least one thing.
Oh
Yeah.
So the other flavors that I'm coming out with are espresso, mocha, and latte.
There's a couple of questions I want to answer before I.
Hey, if you do the spice stuff, you'd get all the middle-aged white moms to hit on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The
They'll hit on
pumpkin
that.
spice.
Pumpkin spice.
I've been seeing a lot of argument though for both. Like, I've been seeing some arguments that the dry spices are making the creamed honey too gritty, and then I've been seeing that some people are using some extracts, but then you got to be careful about extracts because then you're changing the moisture content. So if you're
using dried flavors, dried spices,
right,
making the honey gritty, you're using too much.
Too much. Yeah. Too much.
Balancing act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So DC said, what about those battery powered coolers they have nowadays? DC, I actually looked into those not too long ago. Those things are expensive. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize how expensive those were. So I'm like, that would be a good idea. But they're god awful expensive.
Yeah. All we do is we take one of those Playmate coolers and take the ice packs, the flexible ice packs. We set the creamed honey down in it and set those ice packs down beside it and close the lid.
Same. Yeah. Similar.
And then before we close the lid, we put one on top. They stay perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JW said he just had a new granddaughter. So congratulations, JW.
Congratulations, JW.
Congratulations.
Great granddaughter. Dad House asked if I'm entering cookies. I don't know, Dad House. Baking isn't really my forte, so we'll see what kind of time I have.
But Dot, if you have some cookies left over, I will eat them.
Yeah,
Promise.
So we'll see. Baking isn't I'm not patient enough for baking, and I get frustrated.
Yeah. So I use this spoon, which Brian Zavada put me onto for the runny honey, which is all I sell.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
what we
good.
use.
It's good because they get it out of the container themselves and they use it for multiple different honeys that I have.
Yeah.
Because I was showing several people, not everybody, but I was just showing it. I was actually trying to destigmatize honey that's crystallized. So what I did, I had these. I used to use a large popsicle stick, but these came in like an assorted pack that I got from Michael's or somewhere like that.
Okay.
And they're little short, just tiny sticks. But when I did this, let's see, I just took it and I just swirled it around, and then I could just hand it to them. And they could take it and eat it. And then this gets thrown away after one use. So
everybody is basically giving the samples out. You're not leaving a sample out for people to come and
absolutely not.
Oh no.
Everybody is doing it themselves.
The health department will eat you alive if you do
They
that.
will tear you
These are our
apart.
spoons. I like these spoons because there's a little cup, and so they cup a little bit, so the honey doesn't like just.
Is that wood or plastic or?
It's wood.
Wood. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start.
These are on
I'm
Amazon,
going to start a
too.
debate for a
Oh,
minute.
dear Lord.
Okay, Melissa and I have not argued about this, but we've kind of gone back and forth about it. I don't like the wooden spoon.
Let's pause. We don't go back and forth. We just buy the wooden spoons.
There you go, Melissa.
Isn't wood more expensive than plastic?
Well, I don't know actually, or I don't remember, Scott.
It might be.
Good question. Here's
They
the
are.
thing. I don't like the wood. I mean, the positive side is recyclable, right? As opposed to plastic. So there's that. But the negative side is and these aren't like rough. I don't like that texture in my mouth or on my tongue. I would
Okay.
rather have a piece of
Stop
plastic
right there,
that's
Tom.
smooth.
Stop right there.
Okay.
Forget about recycling and forget about the texture. Does honey taste better on plastic or on wood? That's the debate.
Does it taste better? I don't know. I can't answer that because I get hung up on the texture of this wood.
I would think that it would have to taste better off of plastic.
No,
Probably so. You
No.
think wood?
it tastes better off
You
the
would
wood.
get that.
Here's my
you would
thing.
get that
I
wood-
thought you were going to plastic with that, but I was going to argue that this is just a little more, I don't know, appropriate for honey than
I
the
have a
plastic
honey salume that works in my store.
Now,
And when she went to school, they would not allow her to use metal or plastic. It had to be off of wood to get the true taste and the true background notes of the honey.
I mean, the honey show judges, they use glass rods.
Yeah.
So,
True. Yeah.
So
I would just think you would get that wood taste, because obviously what Philip has, I've eaten those little cups of ice cream and stuff that those come with it, right? I mean, I don't know, you can always taste the wood when you eat off of one of those.
here's my thing about it is most of our customers want glass. They don't want their honey in plastic.
Yeah.
So they are going to look at the wood and want to
probably
like
right.
that more than me serving them. And I understand it's just a sample, but I just think that this looks better and presents better than the little plastic spoons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm with
Exactly.
Clay's comment basically sums up my thought.
Paper straws are the worst.
Paper straws and the
They
texture
are.
of the wooden spoons is not good.
Yeah.
Speaking of paper straws, Mellow Mushroom always had paper straws, and we went there a few weeks ago, and they had plastic straws, and
Yeah.
I was so excited.
It probably cost them both. They probably were able to save millions of dollars by
Before we
switching.
get into too far into plastic straws, somebody commented about the cost of these. Amazon sells a 1,500 pack, and I think the cost is like 2.5 cents each. I
Yep.
think that's what
They're not much.
they are.
I mean, and
As
I know
opposed to the price of plastic. What is?
I do not know what the
that
cost
is?
of. I've never bought the
I'll
plastic.
tell you.
things.
I'll tell
I
you
don't
in a
know.
second. I'll tell
Okay.
you.
Brian
Well,
Cooper,
while she's looking that up,
But I always, it also gives me something to talk about because every now and again somebody takes the one taste and then they throw their spoon away.
Yeah.
And I joke with him. I go, I've got to charge you an extra 2 cents now.
Makes your heart drop when they do that, Philip.
For another wooden spoon.
Yeah.
All right. So
Sometimes if I'm
wooden
really
spoons.
messing with them, I'll make them stick their finger out.
So
Yeah.
the wooden spoons I have are 3 cents a piece.
All right, plastic spoons for 360
Not 3
count
cents
is
a piece.
$25.99. Somebody do the math.
Sorry, not 3 cents.
How many were in there again, Bill?
360. So 29.
So that's 6 cents.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
a small
I
quantity.
got
You
8
gotta-
cents.
Okay.
Yeah, the quantity's not the same because you were saying you were getting 1,500, right?
Yeah.
So-
I get a
So,
15
so
pack.
these wooden spoons were 3 cents a piece. The plastic spoons I have that are lesser quality and actually had little pieces of stringy plastic, where the mold
Right.
is,
Yeah.
Yep.
were 2 cents a piece. So I'd much rather spend 3 cents a piece on these than the
Yeah, I mean
little
that's not that much more, right?
I think these were 2.5.
Yeah.
These little ice cream
Interesting.
spoons.
And again, I do the Amazon orders, so we get the wooden cupped plastic spoons.
She's breaking my heart, y'all.
All right, Rob, what were you trying to say before we all kept interrupting you?
Yeah, so are you there? Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear you, but I think your video is frozen.
Oh, there you go. You're open now.
All right. So where are we at as far as someone made, I think Bill made the statement about naturally creamed honey. So what defines naturally creamed honey? So if I put a seed in it and I let it sit, does that become naturally creamed honey? Or if I ever heated it and I let it sit in a jar and it becomes naturally creamed, where do we draw the line as far as what's considered naturally creamed honey? I have a beef between honey that's done in a KitchenAid mixer or any other type of mixture versus something that's slow stirred like in an old-fashioned ice cream machine, and a seed added, the way it was actually done at the Dice Lab back in 1952 when they actually studied creaming or crystallization. And so everyone says, oh, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I put it in KitchenAid and I add ingredients and I whip it up. It's not the same if you go back and look at it 4 months from now, because I don't care what you put in it, in most cases, if you mix it and let it sit at room temperature, what's going to happen is all your ingredients settle out to the bottom, and then you get this nasty looking stuff. And I can assure you, the stuff that I do in my licensed creamer, and I follow it to the letter of the law, the way it was done in the original, discovery of this stuff. Man, I have jars that have sat for a year on my kitchen table, and they have never separated. They are exactly the way they are. I don't have to put them anywhere. If it's a 70 or 80 degree day, I can set them on a table and sell them. They never melt. They don't break down. I don't have to refrigerate them. They've never been refrigerated. They set at room temperature year round. And I think that's the difference, is because they have been crystallized on their own, as opposed to me whipping them and never breaking the crystals down, and then I throw the ingredients in and I chill it. So, when I go to a store and someone's like, oh, we already got creamed honey, and I'm like, can I look at it? And I look at it and it looks like yogurt, with the ingredients on the bottom. I was like, that's not creamed honey. That's whipped honey.
Whipped honey.
So I will say that when you're doing the honey show, they taste all those creamed honeys, and for texture and consistency and all that stuff. And if you taste a whipped honey versus a creamed honey, you can tell what's whipped and what's creamed by the consistency of it, right?
Yep.
Because a whipped honey it's just air in there, so it's gonna be lighter. It's gonna be whatever. So they can completely tell when they're testing the creamed honey and taste testing it and examining it for honey show purposes anyway.
Yeah.
And you're right. When you whip honey, all you're doing is introducing air into it. So eventually those air bubbles are going to rise to the top, and it's all going to come back to liquid honey and separate and look, like you said, like nasty in the bottom.
Yep.
Because you've got this weird separation going on. As far as the naturally crystallized honey, I've never entered that category. And any honey shows that I've worked, I haven't seen any entries in that category. I'm going to assume that they're looking, like if you added a crystallized, like if your honey naturally crystallizes, like in your 5-gallon bucket, and you put that in a jar and introduced liquid honey to it, then it's going to naturally form those crystals that were originally naturally formed. I would say that that's okay. Because that was originally naturally crystallized honey, you know what I mean? It's still continuing the natural process. You didn't manipulate that crystal structure in any way. So
Right.
in my mind, naturally crystallized honey is just a crystallized honey that you didn't manipulate the crystal structure. Because in creamed honey, when you use the dice method, all you're doing really is manipulating the crystal structure of the honey. So like I said, in my mind, the naturally crystallized honey, whether you add naturally crystallized seed to it or you fill a bottle with liquid honey and wait for it to crystallize, I think either way would be acceptable because you haven't manipulated those crystals.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think maybe the better way to word that, Rob, instead of naturally crystallized, is raw seed or raw creamed honey. Because you haven't heated the raw honey, you haven't heated the seed honey. All you've done is you've combined them in a creamer or a quote unquote ice cream mixer, like you said, to turns it slow and doesn't introduce as much air, but it does manipulate the crystal structure to the point to where that crystal structure takes over the entire amount of honey that you have in there and creates the creamed honey. That's what a creamer is.
Yeah.
It turns slow and manipulates that crystal structure.
Yeah. Yeah, I just see a ton of people advertising that what they're selling is creamed honey, and I'm like, well, how much are you making in a batch? Oh, I only make like 4 or 5 pounds. I'm like, then you're not making creamed honey because
that is a huge pet peeve of mine when people call, like it's just because we make it, right? If we didn't make it, it wouldn't matter to us. But when people, and we know how long that process takes to make creamed honey, when people call whipped honey creamed honey, like, oh no, two completely different products here.
Yeah.
And then I go into the whole spiel of explaining, especially at markets, just to educate people. This is what whipped honey is. This is what cream honey is. They're both great products. Don't get me wrong. But this is a process, and I mean, they're both processes, but this is a longer drawn out process of manipulating a crystal structure. And this is just introducing air into your honey.
Yeah. And at the honey shows, when they judge creamed honey, they open one jar and they turn it on its side. And that honey can bulge, but it cannot run. Hit whipped honey, when you do that with whipped honey, it will run.
So I would like to challenge the thought that naturally crystallized honey will crystallize all the way through. Because 3 years ago, in the fall down at Richland, I harvested a little bit of honey and I couldn't get it to hardly come out of the comb because it was crystallized in the comb. So what I ended up doing with it, with the little bit I got, like 20 pounds maybe, I just stirred it with a paint stirrer and called it creamed honey. And I never did end up selling it. I got about 2 cases of it over there. And it's been over there for 3 years, and this is it right here. Let's see. I'm calling it creamed honey here, but let's see.
What temperature are you storing it at?
But I mean, like,
whatever the room is, it's been sitting in this room for 3 years. It's crystallized on the bottom, but not above that, and it's been there for 3 years.
Well, see, creamed honey won't do that, Philip. Creamed honey will, whatever crystal size that you've made, it will do that in the entire jar.
Right.
Yeah.
It won't have 2 separations like that.
Right.
Yeah, and I understand, but like I said, I stirred this up, and if you put it in a refrigerator, it'll all be creamed or whatever. It'll all be crystallized.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if you take it out and let it sit, it returns to just this right here.
Well, obviously, I'm very new at making this, and I wanted to obviously get it right. So my creamer, the minimum
This has all
on
that.
it is like 2.5, 3 gallons or so, minimum to be able to make some. So I made a batch, and then I put it in this refrigerator back here for about 8 days or so. And then when I pulled it out, it was hard until I kind of like worked at it for a moment or two, and then it kind of got more loosed
Malleable.
up and spreadable. Yeah. So, and then I wanted to make sure that wasn't just like a one-off. So then I made another batch to make sure that like maybe like the next batch wouldn't turn out right or whatever. So, but at this point, I'm not really ready to sell too much of it. So, especially since it's not really selling for me. And again, I'm not at markets and stuff like that. So, at some point I will need to make larger batches, and I'll probably need a larger refrigerator in order to make a larger quantity. But so far, it's been consistent every single time I've made it. And I've just
Melissa, correct me if I'm wrong, but the set temperature should be between 40 and 52 degrees for it to set properly. Am I correct?
You're right. I mean, you're right. We actually set ours in the refrigerator just because
We
it's
turned
easier.
it up.
Yeah, we turned the fridge up to like the highest setting, which
I've been hearing like 55 to 57, right? And I played around with this refrigerator back here for more than a week, and I've got it dialed into 54 degrees.
Yeah.
Consistently all the way through it, everywhere in there. I've got thermometers all over the place in there, and it's 54 degrees everywhere in that refrigerator. And like I said, I've made 4 small batches, and they've turned out perfect every single time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you,
Take
if
it
you
out, Scott, turn it up on its, take the lid off, turn it up on its side.
Yeah.
If it
Yeah.
runs out,
DC 54 is what I've.
Yeah, it doesn't run out. Like I said, it's solid. It's even kind of it's not hard, like not rock hard, but I mean like it's hard and doesn't move until you put a knife or a spoon to it and kind of move it around a little bit. And then it's probably the consistency of, like peanut butter maybe or something.
So it's
So-
still honey, right? So
Yeah.
what happens if you put your jar of honey in the fridge? It doesn't. It gets hard, right? It gets thick. You bring it out to room temperature, it thins up. Creamed honey is the exact same way. You're setting it in the fridge, so it's going to be hard. Then you can store it once it's set.
Right.
Then you can store it outside on.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been storing it outside
or whatever, and it'll thin up a little bit and become more malleable. Just like regular honey, but that crystal structure is set, like the crystal structure. So long as you use the dice method and there's not anything larger. That crystal structure is not going to change.
Yeah, I've been using dice, and I've been using Cox as my seed.
Yeah, same.
So,
They have.
that's what I use too. Cox.
yeah.
So
if you want to find the actual research, you can Google this Bulletin 528 Cornell University.
Mhm.
And you're going to come up with like a 28-page document that you can read step by step what they did. And I actually laminated this one right here, which is out of Bee World of 1932, where they talked about this. But page, yeah. So anyhow, but yeah, it's 57 degrees. It takes almost 3 weeks to make it. This is my jar that I made 1 year ago, almost a year ago to the day. And I'll take the lid off here.
Hey, Rob, was that literature, was that part of the dice method? Is that who researched that?
well,
That is, yeah. So that was done by Eldon, Elton, Eldon Dice. That's his research.
Yeah.
so I will say, like, see how look at the sides of his creamed honey, how it's nice and the color's consistent.
Yeah.
So because we keep ours in the fridge and it's probably a little too cool to set, ours will have like striations in it. Like it's still set properly, but it's like from portions of it setting faster than other of it. If we have it at the right temperature to set, it's going to set more.
Which for
Yeah,
honey,
so like if you see,
Yeah.
mine's a little darker than Rob's, but I think that just really it comes down to the honey,
Yeah.
that I use, the
Yeah.
color of the original honey. But I mean, you can see it's consistent all the way.
Yep.
All the way through. It doesn't have any streaking or anything like that. And like I said, it's nice and firm. It doesn't go anywhere.
Scott, that's actually good. If you had striations in it, they'll disc. If your honey's showing it, that will give you a discount. They will knock off for the striation. So
Yeah, they will.
The fact that you guys have very consistent looking, that's exactly what they want.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a premium crop or product.
Yeah. Yeah, this stuff is set in my kitchen to keep our house about 69 or 70 degrees year round, whether it's winter right now or summer. It sets right about that temperature, and that's what it is. It doesn't break down. It doesn't do anything. I just put a label on this so you can see this label.
Hey Rob, you said that you're using a Lyson creamer.
Yes, I use a Lyson creamer.
And you can adjust the speed on that mixing. Is that correct?
I can. I actually set mine for 99 hours. I cream it.
Okay.
And then I take it straight from the creamer straight into my Lyson bottler, and then I bottle it, and then it goes to my basement. My basement is set at right about 66 degrees year round because I don't have any heat or air conditioning down there. It's all underground block basement, unfinished. It just sits down there on a wire rack for basically 3 weeks, and that's it. And it's done. It's ready. And like I say, we don't never got to put it in the refrigerator. I don't ever have to worry about it melting. I mean, maybe if I set it on a dash of my truck or something on a hot day, it might get a little runny, but I have never had it break down to get to the point where if I tipped it over, it would run out of a jar. Never. And so, yeah, but like I say, I charge $13 for this stuff, and mine's 9 ounces. I use a little fancier label. It's a gold foil label. I had custom made for it, and I use those hex jars, and they're a little bit more money too. But at the end of the day, they move, and I don't undercut my price because there's too much work. You put 3 weeks into one product.
Yeah.
And someone else says, "Oh man, I don't think it's worth that." Well, go make it yourself.
Yeah. Exactly. 3 weeks doing it.
What speed do you have your creamer set on?
I think it's around 50% speed. I think it's just the lowest speed that it can go. I think is 50%.
Yeah.
And if you go to my Facebook page, you might have to go back a year, almost to this day. And I actually have a video, and you can see it actually running. You'll see the batters, but it's just going vroom, 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 vroom. It's slow.
Yeah.
And the Lyson is set up that, and it works exactly the way the dice method says. It stirs it for 15 minutes, and it stops on its own for 45.
Yeah.
On the hour, it starts again. It runs for 15, stops again for 45. And when I bought the machine, I was like, boy, I don't know about this. There's a lot, because I'm doing 60 pounds of honey at a time. And I mean, just out the gate, now I could do, 3 times that. Because I bought a pretty good sized machine. But my fear was, if this doesn't go well, I'm going to ruin 3 buckets of honey. And so I'd get up 2-3 o'clock in the morning, go out and check it, make sure the machine was still running, and sometimes panic because I'd look at the timer and I look at the clock on the wall and I'm like, that thing should have started 10 minutes ago. And all of a sudden about that time, it would come on and start running, and I start watching my clock. Okay, it's good. I'll go back to bed. Now I don't sweat it at all. I put it in, I set it, and let it run. It does its thing, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was worried about in the beginning. I was worried that like the first time it turned out well, I thought, okay, is that a fluke? So then I did another one, just to make sure that it wasn't a fluke and that it actually worked.
So we use the Hilco creamer, and I have ours set on, and it's the same, runs for 15, off for 45, automatically does that, and it'll run indefinitely. Like there's some down there right now that's been in that tank for 2 months just because we were out of jars, and now I haven't had time to go down there and bottle it.
And we do pound batches, so we're doing 10 gallons at a time plus the seed.
And
Are you
it'll still pump out with
to
the
bottle
speed
it?
fill. Yeah, I use the speed fill. But I keep that on 11, which I think is 11 RPMs.
It's a frequency is what it is. I don't know what the revolution per minute is, but it's really slow. This machine goes much faster than what like Rob was talking about. He said it's extremely slow, and I agree with that. The last thing you want to do is cause it to bring air or cavitation into the mix, and that's not what we're trying to do at all. So
it's almost like watching the old-fashioned White Mountain ice cream coolers, or you know, when it goes around, I don't know how to describe it, but it's going around slow enough that it thins through the paddles and not over them. Which I like, and it doesn't really kick up on the wall much either. And now in the dice method, I mean, the research stated it really should have a scraper on the side of the tank when it goes around, kind of like the ice cream machines do, and scraping it off because they believe that it would build up a little bit of a skim on the tank. And I believe that to be true, and nobody makes one. I actually talked to, I can't think who it was now. One of the producers, and I told them they should make some kind of a plastic clamp-on paddle that you could put on that as the centripetal force kicks on, it pushes the paddle to the outside of the wall and scrapes it off the wall. And they said, "Oh, well, that would be easy enough to do," but they've never done it. And and again, it's a one up on everybody else because they actually have something that does exactly what the research says it should be doing. So, but anyhow, I'm glad for clarification because I just thought, I'm going to have 50 people in here saying, "Oh no, we use our KitchenAid." I'm like, you don't got cream honey, you got whipped honey.
Yeah, and I would say even so, Melissa has a really nice KitchenAid mixer, and when you turn it on the slowest speed, which is 1. I would probably argue as well and say that's probably too fast.
It's definitely too fast.
Because if you watch the way that the liquid goes under or over it, like Rob's talking about, boy, you're probably borderline pulling air into the top of that thing. I would have to wonder. We've never done it before, but just as we've used and mixed ingredients before, for batching cookies or whatever you might be doing, it's probably arguable, I would say.
So
when you use your Cox honey, I'm assuming it comes. The stuff I've got from them is pretty white, and then when I mixed it with my honey, it took a while before it blended that white into the other honey. Like as it went in. I mean, and I heated mine to 145 for and then did a flash cool. I actually put a set of valves on my tank because mine's a heated tank. And so I ran it up to 145 with a thermometer. And as soon as it hit 145, I drained all the hot water out of my tank and then ran cold water into my tank. And then I started it churning. And then that's when I put the seed in. And I was shocked. I was really shocked on how long it took before that seed thinned out till it looked consistently. Because, it almost looked like you put chocolate syrup or something in. You can see streaks of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, it took hours and hours before it thinned out. And, which again, that's where I think people who are using a KitchenAid mixer, they're probably going to speed up that whole machine thinking, I got to make it go faster to blend it. And you're defeating the purpose.
Yep.
Yeah, honestly, when we put our seed in, Rob, we kind of set it and forget it. We walk away from it. We don't even check it we may not even look at it for a few days or a week.
But like when I look at this, Rob, though, like this is the Cox. So when I look at this in the jar and then I look at mine, it looks other than the color because the honeys are different.
Sure.
It's the same. See, I mean, look how similar that looks.
Oh yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
Right. But when you first put that in there, did Did you use a KitchenAid or did you use a creaming machine?
No, I use the creamer.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and I mean, like, you're right. I mean, it does slowly kind of. I mean, it's probably hours and hours before
Well, that's a consistent color.
Yeah, you can't really see any more of like runny honey anymore, right?
Yeah.
So it's actually starting to look like the seed is getting completely incorporated. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
So somebody asked why creamed honey. And I think it's because there's so many nectars that just instantly crystallize. Like up north, what do they have? What does Ian do? The canola. And over in Europe, creamed and crystallized honey is really popular in Europe because I think a lot of their nectar sources crystallize really fast. And I think it was just a different way to utilize their honey to make it more spreadable and not such a harsh texture.
I want to defend the KitchenAid creamed honey a little bit.
You're outvoted. You're outvoted.
Right.
Philip, you're wrong, Philip.
You've been kicked off the island.
What is on the bottom of that jar?
Yeah, look at the bottom
Yeah.
of your jar. That's why.
I got this. Hey, I'll go get Russell Koopman's and Brian Zavada's, and they have more liquid in theirs that was made with a proper creamer. Okay, I got them over here. If you want me to go get them,
Brian, you
All
better
right.
hop on here and defend yourself.
But they may
Yeah,
not
you
fall
better,
around.
Brian.
Throw
Hey.
you under the bus.
Shots.
I'm not. No, see now you're taking it. Yeah, so you're just trying to win your argument about getting
We're
people
gonna have
on
to
your
set up a
side.
boxing ring at the No Life dinner.
Joseph Rawls. This is the first creamed honey he made in a KitchenAid creamer, and it is absolutely perfection. It's peanut butter consistency, and that's after a year.
Yeah.
Made in a
But it is
KitchenAid.
starting to separate at the bottom.
Well, okay. Let me go get some that's made in these expensive creamers you guys made. You're gonna force me to talk bad about my friends Brian and Russell.
No,
It's not right.
So I'm gonna while Philip's doing that, I'm gonna address a couple things here. First, James Noel said something about the mortar and pestle. And I did that the first time that we made creamed honey, and I took 6 hours making seed honey, and then it took me, I don't know how many, like a week or two to get enough to even produce enough to do anything decent with, right? And then at that time, I wasn't using the dice method because I didn't want to heat my honey. I wanted to keep it raw. And a rogue crystal got in there and messed up my entire batch. And so after that, I'm like, nope, not doing it again. So that's when we switched to the Cox honey for the seed.
Let
And
me
then
tell you something.
now I use the dice method. Somebody at Obese Nuts said, how much honey do you start with when you add the seed? So we do a 10-to-1, between a 9-to-1 and a 10-to-1 ratio. So 10 parts liquid honey to 1 part seed.
Yeah, I do 10.
These creamed honeys are wonderful. Okay. I'm not disparaging anything about these.
What flavor is that?
This is Brian's, I think this is just natural.
I think Philip mixed some of his tainted stuff in there just so he could throw them under the bus.
You guys forced me into this. This is Russell Koopman's peach, which is wonderful, by the way. I'm never going to get creamed honey sent to me again by anybody, thanks to you.
I'm going to send you a nasty email, Phil. That's what you're going to get from me.
But it's wonderful. But yes, all of it is doing what Joey's did, and Joey's is actually doing less than the others. But this was made in a KitchenAid. I don't know how Russell makes his, but I'm sure Brian makes his in a.
Ryan uses a Lyson creamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm almost positive all of his batches are in a Lyson creamer. I know he has one.
If you're from KitchenAid, send me my royalty. What's funny is I have a KitchenAid, and I was going to try to make some creamed honey in it, but the model I have, when I put the little switch, the timer that goes on and off, when it goes off, it's got a little safety feature. It won't turn itself back on.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Joey's will, so I just gave him my switch and said, "Here, use this."
That's funny.
So
If that's all you folks have for making creamed honey in, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to throw rocks at you.
Yeah, make all the whipped honey you want.
Yeah.
Just call it what it is. Be proud of it.
this is perfect. Nothing whipped. It's not dripping for sure. I think it's going to pass Bill's test.
Well, and so I
You
wonder
took it out of the
too,
fridge.
some of the ones that are cream that are separating like that, if they have flavors in them, if that plays a role in the separation at all.
Sure.
Because I know like in Brian's his lemon one, he uses essential oil, lemon essential oils in that. So I wonder if it depends on what kind of additive you're using that could cause it to separate, or you know what I mean? I don't know.
So
That has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
So bees, nuts, honey, we did not start with a kitchen egg. We actually started with the Hilco. But I will tell you this, Bill has a new line coming out too. And he has a, that's unheated creamer. Is that right, Bill?
I have a heated and unheated creamer.
So Bill has a heated and an unheated creamer, and you'll have both of those at Nobby.
At Nobby.
So Bill will have both of those there. You don't have to start. And I'll tell you this, Lyson makes good stuff. I don't have anything against them whatsoever. I mean, they, again,
We have the
great
uncapper.
stuff. I spent several $1,000s on the automatic uncapping machine. I love it. But there are other options that you can utilize because Lyson is a little bit more expensive one. Bill's got one that's really economical to do. For us anyway, Bill didn't have one at the time. We actually started with the Hilco brand one, and at the same time I bought the Speed Fill. And I will tell you this, on the first batch that I did with the additional monies that I made from my liquid honey to the creamed honey because of the upsell charge for it, I paid for the entire cost of, on the first batch, the entire cost of the creamer, and I think it was a little over half or 2/3 of the cost of the Speed Fill, just an additional revenue that came in from the increase in product sales. So again, I mean, you don't have to spend huge money. Like I said, Bill's got an affordable one that he's going to be throwing out and debuting at Nobby. Go kick the tires on it and check it out.
What size is that, Bill?
I have a 7-gallon and an 18-gallon.
Nice. I mean, I think the smaller one is really going to find a good market, right? Because, you know, not everybody wants to make that larger quantity and stuff.
Well,
Right.
It will definitely.
The 18-gallon one is the one that is heated.
Well, and like Rob said, we sell like everybody's prices are going to vary from where your location is, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to sell honey for the same price Bill is because your demographics different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ours is
We're-
better, Bill's is not. That's all there is to it. We're moving past it. Okay.
No.
Say what?
Think so.
So
I was seeing if you're
Hey.
sleeping back there, Bill.
It might not. It might have been a good thing I didn't hear that.
Hey, Bill,
Hey.
it's okay, man. Hey, we still love you, Bill. It's all right, man.
So like
Good job.
our upcharge, our liquid honey, for example, is for a 1 pound squeeze bottle is $12.
Yeah.
For a 10.5 ounce glass jar of creamed honey is 15. So just that price difference alone, we sold so much of that in creamed honey that it allowed us to pay for those things. But like Scott was saying, creamed honey doesn't seem to sell where you are. And for us, like if we just put creamed honey out on our table, it probably wouldn't sell either.
Yeah.
Because people don't know what it is.
Right.
Because a lot of times, like, you know, when we're telling them what they can taste like, well, what's cream honey? Is there milk in it? Like, what is that? And it's when they taste it and they realize what it is. So like if you just have cream honey and you're advertising it, so many people have no clue what it is. That's why they're not buying it, right? Yeah. But when you educate them a little bit and are able to talk to them and give them samples of it, then they're like, oh, that's really good. You know, then they'll buy it. I was going to say something else.
Hey,
and I
Rob,
can't remember.
Rob, I have a question for you. Melissa and I have kind of talked about this before, and we've even talked about it on a
Do
channel.
we need to go to the green room for this?
No, we don't. No. This is an easy one. This is another good debate, like the old plastic and wooden spoon one,
Yeah.
right? So let me ask you this: your personal opinion, when you have your liquid honey that you make your creamed honey with, Do you
Mhm.
feel like you're using the same honey? All you're doing is crystallizing the same honey. When it's creamed or when it's liquid, do you feel like the taste is different or the same?
Completely different. That's what I was gonna say.
I'm asking him a question. I,
I
want to
know.
hear his answer. Just stop.
I think mine is the same.
Okay.
When I cream it. Now I will tell you this: I only cream light honey. I mean, if it's not very light, I won't cream it. It has to be very, very light honey, and I think that's maybe the difference. If I have something that's an amber color, I won't run it through my creamer. I think that's where the taste comes. But I'm a fan of extremely light honey. Bill mentioned, I think, last week about the black locust honey being some of the best honey out there. And that's what I prefer, is something like that to use in my creamer. And I think when you start going, darker, you start getting that afterbite, little bitter tang at the tail. And I think with the cream, it holds longer because it pastes to your throat and stuff like that. Now to your wife, I don't know if she was reading the chat. I wasn't looking at the chat, but someone asked the question about, why creamed honey over liquid honey. And my selling point I put is right here. This.
Stays out of your beard.
Your beard doesn't get all sticky.
You put liquid honey on a bagel and eat it, and put creamed honey on a bagel and eat it. I'm telling you the difference for a guy who's got facial hair. You're going to the bathroom for 5 minutes with a washcloth trying to get that stuff out. It's just, yeah.
So
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
So
My
one of the
answer to
things
your question, Tom, would be I use light amber honey, not as light as I can get, but it's a light amber honey. And it stays light amber once I cream it.
Okay.
Because I'm using the cock seed honey, which is a light amber honey on the other end. So it mixes well together, and mine tastes the same. It doesn't change. I agree with Rob. It doesn't change.
So we use.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like the first time I ever tried it, my brain was actually expecting something different. So that first sample of that creamed honey, when I tasted it and it tasted exactly like the runny honey that I made it from, I was shocked. Like I actually was surprised because I was expecting it to have some different flavor and it just didn't. It tasted exactly like the honey that I made it from.
So that surprises us because we used the last batch we did, we used our amber honey and it tastes completely different. Creamed honey versus the amber honey liquid, completely different flavor.
And that kind of does make sense what you're saying, Rob, because I agree. Most, not all, most light honeys, and I will say particularly black locust, because black locust is extremely floral and sweet, like just flat out sweet. That probably doesn't hang on your tongue as long as something that has a little bit more of an amber or darker quality to it that'll have a bit of an aftertaste or more of a richer flavor to it. So maybe that's part of the reason why you might get mixed review or mixed answers too. And I would say this, each person's taste palette is not the same. People that can't taste certain things and some people that can. So that will vary person to person 100%.
Well, I would like to, Russell Koopman, who makes a lot of creamed honey, said some people say it tastes sweeter. In my mind, and then this is not creamed honey, this was the naturally crystallized honey that I gave out the market. And people were asking me after I served this, I had just given them the runny honey of the exact same batch. And they would always ask me, now, which one was that again? And in my mind, it tastes sharper. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's more, the flavors seem to me more condensed or, and I think that's what you're getting.
The stuff you're holding, how gritty is that? Is it fine, like smooth like butter, or does it have can you actually feel the grit on your tongue?
You can feel it, but it's not like a lot of mine that crystallizes, but I don't know if I can get it close to the camera. but you can maybe see the crystals.
Closer.
Yeah.
Get closer.
Yeah, I can see them.
Yeah, get closer. A little closer.
Smear on the lens of the
A
camera.
little bit.
Stick it on
Just
there.
want you to touch the screen. It's all over my screen now.
Hey,
Yeah.
Rob's a troublemaker too. I see that, y'all. Y'all blaming me, but I see what Rob's doing. I see what he's up to.
That's pretty good for accidental. That's pretty good for accidental creamed honey.
Yeah, it is. But like Rob, I'm going for consistency in color and consistency in taste because
Yeah.
that's what
Taste and
sells.
texture.
That's what sells.
Yeah.
Is that consistency?
Hey, Rob, let me ask you another question. I was thinking about this a little bit more. Do you think so? Our black locust tends to crystallize fairly quickly. And so that nectar must have more of the glucose D or that dextrose sugar content to it. Do you is that part of the reason why you're using the lighter honey? Is so that it will crystallize a little bit more quickly or stay consistent?
No, I think it's just because I just like the color, and I think it looks more pleasant in a jar. If I'm going to make so I have some stuff here that I got from a monk, and they were making some, and they have some cocoa, they have some cayenne, they have some stuff, and again, this stuff's been sitting here for a year and a half. It has not separated either. And he also, does the dice method to the letter of the law. And now his cocoa, that was a dry mix, and it did get a little thicker, a little pastier type of a stuff, but no grit whatsoever. It's still smooth. The cayenne was maybe a little too hot for a lot of people if you really like hot. But I just think when you're trying to sell honey, that's straight up honey flavor, right? It needs to look that real honey look, kind of lighty. Where if you're saying, hey, like Bill's got, that cinnamon bun type thing, it ought to look a little more like a cinnamon brownish kind of a look to it, like you expect when you're eating a cinnamon bun. I think that mine plays a lot, to your taste buds. I have a brother-in-law who was severely injured in a skid steer accident. He shut the thing off with a boom in the air, and he reached outside to pick up a little kid's wagon while he was still sitting in the seat. And when he did, he hit the lever, and a bucket came down and crushed his skull between the cross member.
Oh my gosh.
He was pinned for 4 hours, and they airlifted him from his front yard. They had to cut the machine apart to get him out, and they airlifted him to Hershey Medical Center here, which is a trauma care center. His skull was crushed across the front, and it was split here. And we were all rushed to the hospital and seen him. And and they had him stabilized. He was still awake. But when I went in and seen him a few hours after it happened, the nurse came in and said, look, you might want to leave the room if you're squeamish, because we need to stitch him up because we don't want infection to get in. And this gap right here was so severely crushed in that when they pulled the skin open to try to grab the skull plate and pull it out a little bit, I actually could see his brain. I mean, we're talking severe head trauma.
Wow.
He was sedated for about a month before they actually tried to reconstruct his whole face. Like, it broke his eye sockets, his nose, his jaw, everything. He looks like complete titanium. And they cut him from ear to ear, peeled his whole face down, rebuilt his face, and put it all back together. But because of that trauma to his brain, it affected one of the lobes, and he did not know for 6 months after the accident that he couldn't taste.
No kidding.
Imagine that. For 6 months, he did not know that he could not taste. Until someone said something about, man, that is too salty. How can you eat that? And he got to thinking about it. He's like, and I don't even taste any salt. And they got to realize he couldn't taste anything because the mind kept saying, this is what mashed potatoes taste like. This is what steak tastes like. This is what. But for 6 months, his mind tricked him into thinking he could taste things. And then when he finally came to the realization, he can't taste nothing, I said, dude, this is great. Like, you could eat healthy as a horse. You could eat everything you wanted, and you don't have to worry about it. I don't like it. And he said, you know what the funny thing is? If I didn't like it before the accident, I still don't like it. There's still a mind thing. If I didn't like green beans before, I still won't eat a green bean, because if there's something in my mind that says I won't eat a green bean because I don't like a green bean.
That's crazy.
And it is crazy. And I think there's just a mindset. And I tell people a lot of times when people think honey tastes the same, I'll say, this is what I want you to do. I'll blindfold you. And I want you to taste this. I'm going to say one word and tell me if this is exactly what it tastes like in your mind. And I'll give them some really like dark, thick honey. And I'll say blackstrap molasses or black licorice. And they taste it and they're like, oh my God, it tastes just like black licorice. And then, or if I give them something, I'll say perfume. And they taste it and they're like, oh my God, it tastes just like perfume. Wildflower. And they go, oh my God, it tastes just like eating wildflowers. And there's some psyche in the brain that works with the tongue, and if they think something. And so for me, I think if, back to that whole theory of, if it's going to look like a cinnamon bun, maybe you make it look like a cinnamon bun, and whether it does or doesn't, it just becomes a cinnamon bun in their mouth because they think it looks like it and maybe smells like a little, and all of a sudden you've tricked them into believing it really does taste a lot like cinnamon bun.
Yeah.
And so for me, the lighter honey, I think, is what people are accustomed to seeing, or an amber, but nothing. Typically, they're not buying even junk honey on the shelf that's real dark. They're buying a light amber to a medium grade amber. And so I just want my stuff when I'm selling it as straight up honey, just natural honey cream. I want it to look that kind of that color and hold that taste. But then, if I'm doing something, if I wanted to put a strawberry extract in it and it didn't change the color, I would put a little food color or dye in it to make it give it a hint of red.
Mm-hmm.
So they just, again, it's the appearance fakes the mind, which fakes the taste buds, and they're like, oh my God, it tastes just like strawberries. People do blueberry, the same thing. They put just a drop of dye in it. It's just not the blueberry, the essential oil. They put a drop of blue dye in it, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, it tastes like blueberries. And so, if you had it black and you say it's blueberry, I think they'd question you, even though it's.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense for sure.
Well, everybody, it's 10:30.
Mm.
It's been a really great discussion tonight.
Kind of, it
It's been
has.
fun.
And I thank everybody for coming out. And I will see everybody Friday night on Charlie's Chat. And looking forward to seeing everybody at Nobby. So don't forget about this week is late night with Tom or Todd, isn't it? This is his week to be late.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think they're every other week, right? And he was on last week, right?
All right,
Yeah.
so not this week, but next week. And then Charlie's on Friday night, and Joey's on Saturday night. So we will see everybody Friday night. So y'all have a great week this week. So
See you,
good
everyone.
evening and good night.
All right.
If
Right,
you
everybody.
enjoyed tonight's discussion, hit the like button, please. Thank you.
Don't forget to get your raffle tickets.
Yep. Good night.
Night, everybody.
Right.